Volkswagen Group is the largest automaker in the world, based on revenue, and the largest in Europe for sure. I am going to show you the production processes in several of the 170 Volkswagen factories all over the world. Now I will show you the secret manufacturing processes of robots and workers in car factories. We start with the largest German factory near the city of Wolfsburg. But I will also show you a factory in Brazil, the United States or Poland. Volkswagen Golf, Volkswagen Touran, Volkswagen Tiguan and Volkswagen Beetle is made here. In today's video let's start from sheet metal bending and welding, through engine assembly to final quality control and test driving. So it will be the whole assembly of the car from start to finish. This part of car production is often called dancing robots. As you can see, the reason for this name is clear. Robotic arms from KUKA robots weld, rivet and assemble the individual parts of the car's body. Everything is controlled by a programmable computer, and the car manufacturer only checks that the robots are assembling everything without error. Volkswagen cars move between stations using mechanical conveyor belts and feeders. For me personally, this part is the most beautiful to look at. This bank of computers is responsible for the delicate robotic dance that fits the powertrain with the chassis. The machines tighten 38 bolts to complete the mating, which is a crucial part of the assembly process. Now the factory staff will check the car body, and all the parts assigned by the robots in the previous production phase. After that, the car moves to the paint shop. Here, the entire body will be sprayed with anti-corrosion paint and then several coats of paint, including the resulting paint. I have speeded up this whole body painting process for you, as it takes several tens of minutes for the whole car to be evenly covered with paint. This part of the production must also be inspected by employees after the robots. The paint must be applied evenly, and there must be no bumpy part on the car's paintwork. The designation of the model and possibly the type of a specific car on the body is usually glued. In this production line it is Volkswagen Golf 7th generation. As you can see, the workers use special rulers to stick all labels on the body, including the engine type. The only Volkswagen logo does not stick, but snaps to the marked place. Every Volkswagen car passes through a tunnel of light, where the fit and finish are painstakingly inspected for flaws. Different sections simulate different types of lighting, to ensure that any error is uncovered before the vehicle meets its owner. Here's just a quick look at engine assembly. The engines are all made in a separate hull, and are assembled into the car as one unit. Soon you can look forward to a video only from the production of the engine. As you can see now, most things in your Volkswagen car are actually assigned by a factory worker. All wiring, seals, doors, wheels and all car interiors. Volkswagen employees are usually men, but women also often work in car factories. Every workstation is stocked with the appropriate components required for fitting and assembly, and smart tools track every nut and bolt in order to ensure proper fitting. The upper window, but also the front window, rear window, or smaller windows are attached using feeders on a slowly sliding belt. The whole process takes only a few tens of minutes and you can't make too many mistakes. Everything is solved with the help of prepared and marked positions. Vehicle powertrains are assembled separately from the chassis and are sourced from a number of plants. The preparation of the entire chassis, including the engine, is mounted at the same time as the body. These two main parts of the car will come together now. Car dashboards are pre-assembled before they're installed in each vehicle. Thanks to feeders and external suppliers, attaching all four wheels to Volkswagen cars is very fast. Nevertheless, this screwing procedure is quite outdated. In most newer car factories, scaling is current and much faster. And now the installation of seats and other parts of the interior. Assembling doors requires the incorporation of a wide variety of parts, including safety components, speakers, amplifiers, power window motors, lock assemblies, and insulation. The front grille with the Volkswagen emblem is now attached. On average, there are 110 cars on the production line at any given time, and each vehicle pauses at a workstation for an average of 12 minutes as workers assemble and adjust parts by hand. A wireless induction system runs through the floor and provides power to the tools. Before it's mated with the powertrain, the chassis moves along the line and receives electrical and mechanical components. The whole vehicle lifts or drops, depending on the nature of the required work. Benefit of special floor is that cars don't leave tire marks when they're driven off after final inspection. But when assembly is done, the cars aren't ready yet for delivery. They undergo testing on a private track that simulates a variety of road surfaces, water pressure testing to ensure protection from the elements, and driving on public roads to uncover any unseen production lapses. Swagen emblem is now attached. This part of the video is from the Volkswagen factory in Germany. It is even in higher quality and comes from this year. It is a production process of the new Multivan T7 from sheet metal bending, welding, to engine assembly to car startup. At Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles, the first production vehicles of the new Multivan are coming off the line. It marks the first time that a Volkswagen Multivan with a plug-in hybrid engine has been made in Hanover. As well as the new drive system, the new Multivan provides greater comfort and safety, plus an innovative interior, and yet remains 100% a Multivan. The start of production is a milestone in the transformation process of the main Volkswagen plant. This, however, does not mean that the remodeling in the factory is finished. Preparations are currently underway for production of the fully electric Volkswagen cars. The new Multivan is the first vehicle to go into full production in Hanover based on the modular transverse matrix. Conceptually, it is making a huge leap. Included for the first time in the drive system program is a plug-in hybrid. Also included is a new evolutionary stage of connected driver assist, operating and infotainment systems. A new interior concept makes the Multivan even more versatile. The 160 kilowatts 218 PS plug-in hybrid drive system brings zero on-road emissions and long range into full alignment with low total consumption. In addition, the Multivan is launching with two turbo petrol engines, 100 kilowatts, 136 PS, and 150 kilowatts 204 PS, before as soon as early 2022 a turbo diesel delivering 110 kilowatts, 150 PS follows. Prices for the new Multivan start at €44,839, which is $51,000. The expansion of automation and the systematic implementation of the digitalization strategy in the manufacturing operation is increasing production efficiency once again. Take the body shop as an example. In the T6.1 manufacturing process, the degree of automation is around 77%. With the new Volkswagen Multivan, it is 93%. The systematic improvement of productivity is an investment in the future. Machine supervisors look after multiple stages in parallel from one control stand. They are in constant contact with the machines via smartwatch digital devices. If any parts are needed, or servicing is due, this gets reported well in advance, thus avoiding any downtime. In the paint shop, having had a new top coat system commissioned 2 years ago, a new bi-color system is now in use. It's here that the new Multivan vehicles get their popular two-tone paintwork finishes. An automated logistics systems for parts increases efficiency in the assembly process. Self-driving carrier vehicles in the factory bring parts directly from the stores to the assembly lines. In the future, T6.1, Multivan, will all be made on just 2 main lines. It's an outstanding feat of both planning and logistics. Training sessions in the production department on the new model's startups, the manufacturing processes, and in particular the subject of electric mobility are running continually. For this, the company is, for instance, making increased use of virtual training sessions, in which employees are able to familiarize themselves with new workflows using VR glasses. New jobs are also being created in the area of production through the ongoing digitalization and automation. Employees are being selected for these through skills development programs, and prepared for them through targeted training courses. Starting series production of the new Multivan as a plug-in hybrid is a milestone in the electrification of production in the Hanover plant. As of 2022, 3 vehicles will be simultaneously made here on 3 vehicle platforms, and with 3 drive system variants, the T6.1, the new multivan and fully electric cars. From 2025 onwards, further fully electric premium models for other group brands will also be made here. Minivans are not the most exciting vehicles, but when it comes to practicality, nothing beats the multivan and the like. The all-new T7 is right around the corner, with Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles planning to introduce the next generation in about a month from now. Meanwhile, a new episode of the lengthy teaser campaign puts the spotlight on the multifunction table. I know what some of you must be thinking right now. What is there to say about an in-car table? Well, the one fitted to the new multivan has a few aces up its sleeve. Thanks to a completely flat floor from the first row of seats all the way back to the third row, a newly developed track system has been installed, so that the table can be moved from front to rear. It also doubles as a center console for all 3 rows, and can be raised up by pressing a button. When not in use, its fold-out halves along with the height adjuster are retracted to maximize interior space. Speaking of freeing up the cabin, it's also possible to remove the table altogether, whenever you want to carry longer items, to create more space between the seats. Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles also mentions headroom has remained the same compared to the outgoing T6.1, but if the optional panoramic sunroof, a first for the multivan, is added, headroom is improved over its predecessor. It likely has to do with the T7's switch to the MQB platform, bringing skin-deep changes and better packaging along with a more car-like driving experience, and the latest tech seen in Volkswagen's compact to mid-size cars. The revamped minivan will be wider than its predecessor to increase interior space, further improved by stretching the wheelbase. Replacing the old-school handbrake lever with an electronic switch and swapping out the manual gearbox for a tiny shift-by-wire DSG control has created more room between the front seats. When it debuts mid-June, the T7-based multivan will have a plug-in hybrid powertrain, and we're expecting some of the hardware to be adapted from the Golf MK8. Volkswagen is offering 2 lengths for the multivan, both on the same wheelbase, which is 12 cm longer than the current Caravelle. The longer version is 20 cm longer, gained by lengthening the rear overhang. Looking ahead, multivan is scheduled to gain a 4x4 model in 2024, using an e-axle to provide all-wheel drive. A Euro 7 compliant performance diesel variant is also planned, but is still several years away. 3 trim levels will be available in the UK. The entry-level spec, simply called multivan, the mid-range life and the top spec style. Anyone buying a multivan is likely to be focused on what the model offers inside. Like its predecessor, there are up to 7 seats which can be arranged in 3 rows. Volkswagen has opted for a rail system for the seats to offer greater flexibility. It's a system first seen on the 1996 Renault Espace. By mounting the seats on rails that run front to back in the passenger area behind the front seats, owners can position the 5 rear seats as they like, while a center console which converts into a table can be mounted on the middle rails and positioned where needed. Despite the more steeply raked windscreen, the multivan carries over the feel of the Caravelle when climbing aboard. The high driving position and dashboard design retain enough similarities with the Caravelle to convey the link. The interior design is very clean with an uncluttered dashboard, aided by the lack of both handbrake and gear lever. All multivans will have electrically operated handbrakes and automatic transmissions, providing fairly unobstructed cross-cab access. It is more car-like than its predecessor, but it is still principally a vehicle for moving passengers around in comfort. Features such as electrically operated sliding doors and a panoramic glass sunroof will go down well with passengers. The multivan is really a new catch-all replacement for the old Sharon and current Touran MPV-S as well as a Tour minibus. And there's no doubt that moving it onto a proper car platform has greatly improved refinement and available technologies. That said, bugbears with VW's dead-end current infotainment remain. And really, it's impossible to be definitive with a first impression drive in a top-spec model. This is a car that needs loading up and tasking with a weekend away. Then we'll know for certain if this is truly the ultimate car that thinks it's a van. Now I am going to tell you some information about Volkswagen Multivan T6. A very significant upgrade over the T5. The T6 maintained the choice of 2 wheelbases and 3 roof heights, though the UK dropped back to 2 in 2018, while introducing more efficient engines and upping its safety game with modern driver assistance aids. This included autonomous emergency braking, which was made standard in the UK in mid-2017. There were even greater changes in 2019, when the T6.1 facelift was introduced ahead of going on sale in early 2020. Updates for this include revised interior, a new type of power steering, allowing for even more safety kit, increased connectivity and even further efficiency improvements. It's one of the best vans in the medium sector, with a range that stretches from basic working vehicles, right though to immensely fancy lifestyle machinery, not least of which being the latest California and Caravelle. You can even buy a two-tone model, paying tribute to the original. In South America, Volkswagen is launching the Taos, the first SUV of the brand produced in Argentina. At the same time, the in Latin America developed Nivus will come to Europe within this year. So it's high time to take a closer look at both vehicles. Now let's look at the manufacturing process of a Volkswagen SUV called Taos. Volkswagen Taos was first released in 2018 in China, and it is a compact crossover SUV. This car is positioned below the Tiguan and above the T-Cross in South America and China. The Taos is named after a small town in New Mexico to pay tribute to John Muir, who lived there, and who authored a repair book and manual dedicated to past Volkswagen models. Volkswagen de Mexico began the production of its Taos model for exportation markets last month, with the United States being the first foreign destination for this new compact SUV. The German carmaker has produced more than 4,300 units of Taos to date for the Mexican market. With the start of production for the American market, Volkswagen meets a new manufacturing milestone for the compact SUV. The production of Taos is the result of an investment of more than $400 million. The Taos is expected to arrive at United States dealers very soon. The German automotive giant has invested over $400 million in its Puebla plant in preparation for Taos production for overseas markets. The 2022 Taos is expected to arrive in United States showrooms very soon, and it will follow shortly thereafter in Canada. The model comes with a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine producing 158 HP, in association with a 7-speed, dual-clutch automatic transmission. We still await for pricing on this model. With Canada no longer having access to a regular Golf model, as of this year, Volkswagen lovers' next best choice will become the new Taos. Volkswagen also has launched the serial production of the new Taos crossover at the Russian plant in Nizhny Novgorod. According to the company press office, 63 million euros have been invested in the launch of the production of the model. The technical features of the crossover have also been revealed. The engine range of the compact model includes an atmospheric unit with a capacity of 110 HP. The engine operates with a 5-speed manual, or a 6-speed automatic transmission. The new Taos will be available exclusively as the front-wheel drive version with this engine. The all-new 2022 Volkswagen Taos debuts with a bold exterior design, practical but refined interior, advanced technology, and available 4Motion all-wheel drive. Slotting below the Tiguan, Taos offers Volkswagen's signature driving dynamics, high quality, and smart packaging in a smaller package with a lower price tag. Taos boasts a tech-forward package, including the latest standard and available driver assistance technologies offered by Volkswagen. The Volkswagen Digital Cockpit is fitted as standard, along with the next-generation Volkswagen CarNet telematics system, offering 5 years of remote access services at no additional charge, and in-car Wi-Fi capability, when you subscribe to a data plan. Available technology includes Volkswagen's MIB3 infotainment system, with wireless charging and wireless app connect for compatible devices, as well as driver assistance technology, light assist, and dynamic road sign display. All versions of the Taos are powered by a 1.5-liter turbocharged and direct injection TSI engine making 158 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. Thanks to sophisticated technology such as variable geometry turbocharging, the Taos delivers excellent fuel economy and spirited performance. Every Taos can be optioned with Volkswagen's 4Motion all-wheel drive system. As the newest member of the Volkswagen SUV lineup, the compact Taos offers flexible passenger and cargo volume, as well as everyday usability and utility. The 2022 Taos is currently at United States Volkswagen dealerships. The 2022 Taos is built on the same sophisticated MQB chassis architecture as most other vehicles in the Volkswagen lineup. The unitary construction chassis has two solid-mounted subframes with bolt-on front fenders, and utilizes advanced technologies such as the laser clamp welder, which produces wobble seam welds in a wave pattern to help maximize strength in a limited space. The stamped steel body and chassis boasts a large percentage of high-strength, hot-formed steel. This technology, along with the use of newly developed ultra-high-strength steels, allows much of the chassis and body to be constructed from thinner and lighter parts without loss in strength. The Taos uses a strut-type front suspension, but has different rear suspension setups for the all-wheel and front-wheel drive models. AWD models have a multi-link layout, while FWD versions get a torsion beam. Braking is handled adeptly by 12.3-inch ventilated front and 10.7-inch solid rear disc brakes. Volkswagen has started production of the all-new Nivus crossover coupe at its Anchieta plant in São Bernardo do Campo, Brazil. This video footage is from that car factory. It's a big deal for Volkswagen do Brasil as the Nivus is the first model developed in Brazil that will be produced and sold in the European market. While the Nivus built in Brazil will be exported to countries in Latin America, the subcompact crossover will also enter production next year in Pamplona, Spain. The location is not surprising as the Pamplona factory also makes the Polo hatchback and the T-Cross crossover SUV, both closely related to the Nivus. According to Volkswagen do Brasil, about 30 people from the Spanish team are involved in the Nivus project, and some of them have been visiting the facilities in Brazil to learn more about the development of Nivus before European production begins. Interestingly, the Volkswagen Nivus was developed without the need for a physical prototype in any of its phases, with designers and engineers using virtual reality and augmented reality instead. The Nivus is made at the Anchieta plant alongside the Polo hatchback and Virtus sedan, with all three models sharing the MQB platform. To prepare the factory for the new model, Volkswagen bought 419 new equipment including 90 state-of-the-art robots and a new extra-large press. The facility was also expanded by 24,000 square meters, and now totals approximately 105,000 square meters. The Volkswagen Nivus will go on sale in Brazil in the coming weeks, followed by Argentina later in the year, and other South American markets in 2022. From the second half of next year, it will also become available for European customers. Check out the following video to see how the Volkswagen Nivus is made at the Anchieta plant, the German carmaker's oldest production facility in Brazil. The design of the Nivus combines SUV elements and sports coupe lines. One of the design highlights is the fast and flowing slope of the C-pillar. This results in the special coupe profile of the Nivus. Haven drew the first sketches of the new model about 4 years ago. The front end of the Nivus bears the typical Volkswagen design. The headlights are joined by a very dominant grille and the distinctive lines of the hood, which define the car's rugged character. Built on the modular transverse toolkit, the Nivus offers an interior that is comfortable even for 5 occupants. The trunk can be opened using one of the virtual buttons from Volkswagen Play, the brand new infotainment system. Speaking of the trunk, with a capacity of 415 liters, the Nivus offers plenty of space. The multimedia unit, developed in Brazil, has an intuitive user interface. With an extremely high-resolution 10-inch screen, touch-sensitive, scratch-resistant and virtual buttons, it not only offers modern connectivity, but also enables a range of other services and streaming. The 10-inch screen and the digital 10-inch active info display on the driver's side act as a large digital island in the dashboard of the Nivus. Practical yet safe, the digital cockpit can be operated via the steering wheel. A special feature on the Brazilian market are the flexible fuel engines, which run with gasoline, ethanol or the mixture of both fuels in any proportion. The Nivus is equipped with a FlexFuel 10-liter 3-cylinder 200 SI that offers 94 kilowatts of power. The Badge 200 is a reference to the high torque, 200 Nm, when running on ethanol. In conjunction with the 6-speed automatic transmission, this ensures relatively low fuel consumption. Its large interior makes the Taos an ideal vehicle for the family. As in the Nivus, there are 2 large screens in the cockpit for the Volkswagen Play multimedia platform. The system offers a wide range of information, entertainment, and connectivity. Together with the 10-color ambient lighting, occupants can look forward to an interior atmosphere that is unique. The soft touch materials and leather inserts on dashboard and door panels complement the premise of sophistication. A storage compartment for inductive smartphone charging is also on board. Volkswagen designed the Nivus for the South American market and Mexico, but it planned to sell it in Eastern Europe. It was an SUV coupe based on the same platform with the T-Cross. The Nivus hit the market in 2021, and it resembled a few models from the German car maker's stable, but was a completely different vehicle. It wasn't just a cutout from an already existing model. The European customers became very interested in that SUV coupe and asked Volkswagen to bring it to European countries. The car's front side featured long horizontal lines over the grille to make the car look wider. With its swept-back LED headlights surrounded by the LED daytime running lights, it didn't make the impression of a budget SUV, even if it was built on the MQB platform, the base one used for the Volkswagen Polo. The rake A-pillars and the sloped-back roofline mimic the shape of other successful, mid-size SUV coupe vehicles. At least one of the 2 side-mounted exhausts was fake in the back, but offered a balanced look for the car. Inside, some elements resembled the Volkswagen Polo. It featured an integrated 10 touchscreen on top of the center stack and a classic, analog instrument cluster. As an option, the instrument cluster was available as a digital display, connected with the infotainment unit. That was a premiere for the small-class crossover segment. Due to its short wheelbase, there was not too much room in the back, but at least the roof was sloped after the rear seats. Due to the bi-fuel system, the car was fitted with a 1.0-liter engine carried over from the Brazilian Volkswagen Polo sedan. The 3-cylinder unit returned 116 horsepower when ran on gasoline and 128 when ran on ethanol. It is 4,266 mm long, 1,757 mm wide, 1,493 mm high, and has a 2,566 mm wheelbase. The luggage compartment is a reference among compact hatches, and even market compact SUVs, with a 415-liter capacity. This benefit is due to an extremely functional design, with a coupe-style body and benefited by a longer overhang. Volkswagen Poznań plant in Poland started series production of new 5th generation of the Volkswagen Caddy. This footage is from building that factory and assembly line of the newest Volkswagen Caddy. All preparation work for the new model range was performed during normal production of Caddy 4. The main tranche of the investment was directed towards the new welding section, which has now over 450 robots, which brings the level of automation at the plant up 80%. Until now, the welding on the units was mostly manual. But the new 46,000 SQ.M facility is deemed to be green, with a lot of new solutions making the production climate friendly. The assembly systems are flexible. As an example, students participating in some projects invented a smartwatch function with which production flow can be controlled by this hand device. With this innovation, the factory can save a lot on monitoring and controlling installations and time, resulting in rolling off 3 additional units per day. Regular production processes blends manual workers at various assembly points with autonomous robots, similar to today's modern, efficient facilities. As the new part of the Volkswagen factory is located near Poznań city center, the authorities agreed to close off one street, which was located inside Newhall. This is not typical arrangement, but confirms good collaboration and business relationship between Volkswagen and the city authorities. This factory will reach a production level of 600 Caddy 5 vans and passenger versions per day, as the order bank is flourishing. The Volkswagen Group owns and operates 2 other factories nearby, one in Resnia, which builds the Volkswagen Crafter and MAN TGE. The immediate future of the plant is strong. Volkswagen Poznań employs 8,500 people, who in June agreed and signed a Solidarność trade agreement to ensure job stability to 2024. Currently, 95% of VW production is destined for export. Initially, Caddy 5 will enter markets in Germany, Spain, and France. It is due in Ireland before springtime. This is production line process of Volkswagen Passat in the United States Volkswagen factory. The Volkswagen Chattanooga assembly plant is an automobile assembly plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The plant was formally announced in July 2008 and began production of the Passat B7 in April 2011 prior to being formally inaugurated in May 2011. The plant began production in April 2011 with a version of the 2012 Volkswagen Passat, tailored to the US market, and has a projected annual production of 150,000 cars. Production of the Volkswagen Atlas commenced in 2017. In 2019, Volkswagen announced that the ID. Cross and ID. Buzz all-electric vehicles would be produced at the plant in a new electric vehicle division beginning in 2022. The local plant, building a localized product, allows Volkswagen to avoid exchange rate fluctuations, monitor US automotive market trends, and potentially reduce vulnerability to extended supply chain issues. At its outset, Chattanooga Assembly manufactured 85% of the Passat's content, and about 85% of the content of the North American Passat comes from North American Free Trade Agreement countries. If there's one overwhelming trend in the modern US auto market, it's the death of the car as we know it. Consumers have flocked to SUVs and trucks in droves, and some companies have all but eliminated cars from their lineup entirely. The latest domino to fall is the Volkswagen Passat, as Volkswagen of America has announced the end of the model's tenure in the United States. The last ever Passat for the United States rolled off the production line in Chattanooga, Tennessee in December. The 2022 Passat Limited Edition was a handsome thing, finished in platinum gray. The Chattanooga assembly plant will now shift to producing electric vehicles, with the site set to start assembling the ID.4 electric SUV later this year. The facility is also set to become an EV testing hub for Volkswagen's North American operations. Passat production was originally slated to wind up for the 2023 model year. However, slow sales prompted the axing to be brought forward to December 2021. The Passat has had a long and storied history in the US, first entering the market in 1974. Since then, more than 1.8 million Passats have been sold in the US. However, the model has seen several unique names over the years, first sold under the Dasher name, before switching to Quantum for the second generation. The Passat finally earned its true name in the United States in 1990, with the release of the third generation model. This is factory tour in Volkswagen Wolfsburg plant, Germany. Production line of Volkswagen Golf 8th generation. Over 35 million Volkswagen Golf in various versions have been produced worldwide since the first generation, 26 million of them at the Wolfsburg plant. Production of the new Golf at the main plant began in the summer, and is currently in the run-up phase. The first vehicles will be in the showrooms at dealers in Germany and Austria in early December. To prepare for production, approximately 700 work steps were analyzed at over 400 workshops to leverage existing efficiency reserves. Numerous process improvements have been implemented to make sure the 8th generation of the bestseller can be built more efficiently than its predecessor. In Wolfsburg, 8,400 employees work exclusively on the Golf. The Golf 8 has over 2,700 individual parts and components. There are 962 wiring systems with 1,340 meters of cable in the fully connected Golf. That is 31 wiring systems, and just under 100 meters of cable more than in the Volkswagen Golf 7. Starting with delivery of the steel sheet, the Golf travels 69 kilometers on production lines until the finished vehicle leaves the factory. Due to greater standardization of plant and processes for the Golf 8, ramp-up investments for a successful start of production have been cut by more than half compared with the model's predecessor. Total investments for the new Golf are in the mid-three-digit million euro range. Given the current platform strategy, 80% of existing body shop plant and equipment can be used. Like its predecessor, the Golf 8 is based on the modular transverse toolkit. New equipment has been installed for the side panels of the Volkswagen Golf 8 with their striking Tornado line. This new plant is not only much more flexible, it is also 40% more productive than the equipment used for the Golf 7. Commissioning the Volkswagen Golf 8, for example installing all data, is fully automated and carried out via fast WLAN network, while the vehicle is still on the production line. As a result, manufacturing time for this process step remains unchanged, even though the volume of data is higher. From next year, a new fully automated generation of driverless transport systems will ensure the faster supply of material, a key factor in efficient factory processes. Body shop logistics will see a 7% improvement in productivity through the use of 23 transport robots. So these were shots from the production of new cars at Volkswagen. Now you can still see the final quality control of each car, and a test drive will follow. If you are interested in the production process of Volkswagen Golf, Passat, Caddy, Volkswagen Nivus, SUV Taos or Volkswagen Multivan, be sure to check out the next video. In the next video you will see the production of the Volkswagen Tiguan, Volkswagen Touareg and many other Volkswagen cars. Please write me in the comments section below which part you are most interested in. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time.